Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel as I'm definitely playing some catch up with some videos on recent Calgary sports news that occurred just before and around my trip up to Edmonton for the Labor Day rematch. Well, this video can kind of almost be a part two from my previous video right here where I just talked about catching up with the Calgary Flames when it comes to what they've done in free agent frenzy throughout the summer. Well, the Calgary Flames definitely announced a few more signings, which might actually put a couple emphasis on that. Maybe it definitely puts more of a sign on building a team more sorted towards Darryl Sutter now that he'll be coming into camp fully as coach for this season. But it would also raise any questions on will there be any openings potentially for any younger players. Let's say like a Glenn Godwin or Jacob Peltier or Connor Zary, for example. So yeah, there was a couple more signings that the Calgary Flames have made. A few of them might be questionable on where they fit in on the team. But the first one that they made was, hey, actually I didn't go to high school with this guy. There was actually a Brad Richardson that I went to high school with, but it's not the same one. But the Calgary Flames actually announced that they signed center Brad Richardson, who's actually a 36-year-old center who signed a one-year deal worth $800,000. This is another player that would be familiar with Darryl Sutter, because just like Trevor Lewis, who we signed in free agent frenzy on opening day, as well as Blake Coleman. However, Trevor Lewis and Brad Richardson both were teammates on the Los Angeles Kings when they won the Stanley Cup. Let's take a look at Brad Richardson. What team was he on with the Los Angeles Kings when they won the Stanley Cup? He was on the 2012 team, because in 2014 he was with the Vancouver Canucks. So Trevor Lewis was on both Kings teams that won the Stanley Cup, but Brad Richardson was on the 2012 team when Darryl Sutter came in. Brad Richardson also did play with the Colorado Avalanche. He was also a Vancouver Canucks, and recently with the Arizona Coyotes, and last season he was with the Nashville Predators. He has played over 825 games in the NHL, has 246 points, and he has played in 61 playoff games, but he had a long run with the Los Angeles Kings in 2012 and in 2013 when they were taken out by the Chicago Blackhawks in the conference championship. But this is just another depth signing, another depth center that the Calgary Flames have acquired in free agency. Definitely adding a lot more, pluggers with. We've already got Brett Ritchie, and that's definitely one of the big other signings that we have. Like I said, Brett Ritchie and Trevor Lewis. So we're definitely going to be a little harder to play against with this signing. It's a one-year, $800,000 contract, which no harm, depth forward that be a veteran presence for this team. But the other signing, this was practically, I think it was a matter of time. The last restricted free agent that the Calgary Flames had, they still had remaining from my last videos. They got Connor Mackey signed, a left defenseman. He also signed a 2-year deal. It's a one-way for the $1.83 million, so an average hit of $913,000. So definitely have a lot more of a crowded blue line, especially with the Connor Mackey signing and a couple more defensemen that we still have signed, which the other defenseman we signed is Erik Gudbranson. This one might scratch a little head on why we signed Erik Gudbranson. We did sign him to a one-year deal, one-way deal with $1.95 million. He's 29 years old. He has been around the league. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Erik Gudbranson, wasn't he highly coveted when the Pittsburgh Penguins acquired him a couple years ago when they were looking to load up for going for a three-peat? When we look at his numbers here, he did start off his career with the Florida Panthers, starting in 2011 to 12. He did play for the Vancouver Canucks, so you can see another of the Vancouver Canucks, former Canuck coming to the Calgary Flames. He did play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, he went to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but in 2019. Then he was also an Anaheim Duck National Predator, and he was an Ottawa Senator last season for most of the season. He's played 563 games in the NHL, 77 points overall. He has a minus 102, and he's played in 19 Stanley Cup playoff games. But I know a couple years ago, I think actually this past season, he was making over $4 million. So he definitely took a little bit of a haircut to, because he was coming off a 3-year deal that was paying him $4 million a season. But definitely add some more depth on the blue line. But it's kind of a head scratcher where he fits in. And then the last defenseman that the Calgary Flames signed, which I was personally speculating that he was likely going to come back. Yes, Michael Stone is back, as we signed him to a minimum 1-year, $750,000 contract. I always say with Michael Stone, he's that perfect, depth defenseman that we can have keeping around that takes a roster spot. Not necessarily take a roster spot away from a young player, but it's more effective to have a proven veteran defenseman who can be in and out of the lineup as opposed to just having a young guy in the end who spends more time not playing than playing when he can still benefit more playing at the minor leagues. So that's the signings here. So yeah, we did sign Brad Richardson since my last video, another depth forward. And then we signed 3 defensemen, Connor Mackey, who was our still restricted free agent. And then we added Erik Gudbranson and Michael Stone. So what do you think of these signings that the Calgary Flames have made? I'd just still say the Erik Gudbranson, I'm not quite sure on. And I'm going to say with all these depth, signings with forward and defensemen, it might make it a little tougher for some rookie to break into the lineup at this stage. But now I was already on the Capfriendly website that after all these signings were made, we have enough to ice a opening day roster that now the Calgary Flames have just over $1 million in cap space. That's assuming we have 14 forwards, because it still lists Byron Fries as one of the forwards. I'm assuming he'll probably go back to Stockton. Oh yeah, the other forward that we acquired in the trade in Tyler Pitlick. So now let's just say if we take Byron Fries off, that'll be our 13 forwards. And then 7 defensemen. Does list the 7 defensemen, including with Michael Stone, because Connor Mackey could be both playing with Stockton and the Calgary Flames. And then the 2 goalies with Jacob Markstrom and Daniel Vladar. And keep in mind it's still this season, which is the last season that we still have a dead cap space of $1.5 million for Troy Brouwer. But after that, there's no more dead cap space with buyout with the Calgary Flames, and we haven't had any trades yet where we retained salary. And then I guess the last piece of it, according to Capfriendly, that another story that you're going to see more of is potential professional tryouts. The Calgary Flames actually have 1 player on a professional tryout in terms of Alex Gallant, although he's never played in the NHL in his career, but he did play with the Stockton Heat the last couple seasons. So maybe he's trying his luck to get in with the National Hockey League team, or maybe at least still be with the Stockton Heat. But this is kind of just another almost a part 2 sign to get caught up with Calgary Flames free agent frenzy. But we already made our big headlines when we signed Blake Coleman and Trevor Lewis on opening day, and then we made those couple trades where we got Nikita Zadorov on defenseman to replace Mark Giordano. Essentially, we have a top 4 defenseman, and then acquiring Daniel Vladar, who still is an unknown commodity but has an upside and a cheaper option for a backup goalie. So I was going to say, what do you think of these latest signings with Brad Richardson, Connor Mackey, Erik Gudbranson, and then bringing back Michael Stone for yet another season? So anyways, I want to say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home of the Flames, Hip, and Roughneck Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, or recapping games and stories, and as well, I do a variety of non-sports content, like personal vlog, attempt to comedy, and I do share experience on the road at a sporting event. And I've done some vlogging at Go, so if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, do follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey. You know what you do, just make sure you hit like and subscribe. I also have my other social links down in the description below. And I do have my second channel in Brett Hornby Shorts, where I use that channel to post my short form content on there, so I appreciate you like and subscribe. both on my main channel and as well on my second channel. So yeah, training camp is about to start for the National Hockey League. The Calgary Flames will have 8 preseason games to look forward to. So based on my schedule and plans, it'll be after the Thanksgiving weekend that the Calgary Flames will wrap up their preseason schedule, and that's when I'll be back with Season 4 of my Calgary Flames game recap. So the first episode will be what happened in preseason with the 8 games. So expect for that coming up in the next month. And then depending on how the schedule works, there'll all be 6-game recaps, and I might have to put a 4-game one in the middle of the season, depending on how the games work with the Olympic break in February. Because we know that the NHL will be going over to the Olympics in Beijing in 2022 this upcoming January. So anyways, I want to say go Flames go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.